Welcome to Whispers and Confessions. There might be a twist waiting, so please make sure to watch until the end. Don't forget to subscribe and like. Let's begin right away.
Finally, the three of us shared a bath together. Henry, perhaps feeling a twinge of jealousy, began caressing Nancy in the tub, as if to reassert his connection. The couple became intimate right before my eyes. Observing them only heightened my excitement, and Nancy and I made love once more while Henry watched, his gaze intense and unwavering. My name is George, and I'm 41 years old. 3 years ago, I lost my beloved wife, leaving me to raise our daughter, now in 6th grade, alone. My daughter, having inherited her mother's culinary skills, now diligently prepares our meals. While I'm immensely proud of her resilience and maturity, I can't help but feel a persistent guilt about the responsibilities she's had to shoulder at such a young age. During my wife's lifetime, we shared an unconventional hobby known as swinging. We were introduced to an online community by a like-minded couple and occasionally engaged in partner swapping. This clandestine activity was our closely guarded secret, hidden especially from our daughter. It provided us with a private sanctuary where we could freely explore our desires and fantasies. From a conventional societal perspective, intimate relationships outside of marriage are often frowned upon. However, for us, this lifestyle offered a uniquely comfortable space. The mutual consent between my wife, myself, and the other couples involved alleviated any feelings of guilt. For those who found enjoyment in it, swinging presented an enticing opportunity to confidently engage with new partners in a controlled, safe environment. The advantages of our swinging lifestyle were both numerous and unexpected. Through encounters with new partners, we discovered sexual pleasures previously unknown to us, which in turn reinvigorated our own intimate life. Surprisingly, these experiences served to strengthen the trust and communication between my wife and me. We found ourselves able to discuss our desires and fantasies more openly, bringing us closer in ways we hadn't anticipated. Furthermore, we couldn't deny the exhilarating sense of liberation that came from challenging social norms. The thrill of sharing our secret world fortified our bond as a couple. While we recognized that this lifestyle might not suit everyone, for us, it was a transformative experience that enriched our relationship immeasurably. At times, we even pondered why more couples didn't partake in such activities, though we were acutely aware of the complexities and potential risks involved. In the wake of my wife's passing, I found myself engulfed by grief and subsequently ceased visiting the swinging forum we had frequented together. The daily challenges of life became overwhelming, and I had to channel all my energy into caring for our child. The mere thought of engaging in our once shared hobby without her seemed not only impossible, but also disrespectful to her memory. The vibrant world we had once explored together now felt like a distant, bittersweet dream. 3 years after my wife's passing, as my daughter grew more independent, I felt an undeniable urge to revisit the swinging forum. The guilt towards my late wife was palpable, but I couldn't deny my needs as a man. Those 3 years of isolation from female companionship, save for my daughter, had left me with a profound sense of loneliness. In my mind's eye, I conjured an image of my wife in heaven, her voice gentle as she said, "Darling, it's time for you to find happiness again." This imaginary dialogue, while perhaps a coping mechanism, provided a modicum of solace and eased my conflicted conscience. With this self-imposed absolution, I logged into the forum. An avalanche of messages and posts from couples seeking to swap partners greeted me. It was hardly surprising. I hadn't accessed the forum since my wife's death. I methodically cleared out the old messages and perused the recent ones, my emotions oscillating between nostalgia and anticipation. Amidst the sea of posts, one message stood out. It was from a couple close to my age, Henry, 43, and Nancy, 41. Their proposition diverged from the typical swinging arrangement, piquing my interest with its uniqueness. Henry's request was extraordinarily unconventional. He wished to witness, firsthand, the development of an intimate relationship between his wife, Nancy, and myself. More specifically, Henry wanted to observe me, seducing Nancy in his presence, watching our interaction evolve into a sexual encounter. This request was unprecedented in my experience within the swinging community, and it ignited my curiosity like never before. Given my current status as a widower, this proposal presented itself as a golden opportunity. The prospect of engaging with a woman after such a prolonged period of celibacy was enticing, and revisiting the forum had made me acutely aware of how much I had missed these experiences. I had always harbored guilt for the challenging situations my daughter had endured, and while grappling with the loneliness left in the wake of my wife's absence, I had devoted myself entirely to my daughter's well-being. Now, I felt an overwhelming need for change in my life, and this proposal seemed like the perfect catalyst. Naturally, feelings of guilt persisted, but they were increasingly overshadowed by my growing anticipation for this novel experience. Reflecting on the joyous moments I had shared with my wife, I couldn't help but think that this encounter could breathe new life into my existence. Moreover, I harbored hope that this change might ultimately have a positive ripple effect on my daughter's life, perhaps by transforming me into a happier, more fulfilled parent. Reconnecting with the forum rekindled my passion for this lifestyle, and I found myself eager to immerse myself in it once more. I reached out to Henry, candidly sharing my current circumstances. Despite my apprehensions about potential rejection due to my widower status, Henry's interest seemed to intensify because of my unique situation. His response filled me with an overwhelming sense of joy and acceptance, emotions I hadn't experienced in years. While a twinge of guilt towards my late wife lingered, I imagined her voice, soft and reassuring, saying, "It's all right. I'm watching over you from above." Knowing that she had derived pleasure from our swinging experiences during her lifetime, I convinced myself that she might indeed be observing from the celestial realm, understanding and approving of my need for human connection. This notion brought me a sense of peace and allowed me to proceed with diminished hesitation. Henry mentioned that his wife, Nancy, was rather shy and he was uncertain about how far she would be willing to go, but he asked for my understanding and patience. Without a moment's hesitation, I responded affirmatively and arranged a meeting with the couple. As I confirmed the details, I felt a potent mixture of nervousness and excitement coursing through me, sensations I hadn't experienced in years. The prospect of this encounter held the promise of rekindling a part of myself I thought had been lost forever. On the fateful day of our rendezvous, we convened at a nondescript convenience store near the hotel. As we entered together, I found myself captivated by Nancy's presence. She was a vision of mature beauty, her curvaceous figure accentuated by a well-fitted dress that hinted at her voluptuous form beneath. Her smile, adorned with slight laugh lines, was utterly enchanting. Those gentle creases around her eyes spoke of a life well lived, adding depth to her warm, inviting gaze. Her full, sensuous lips seemed to promise untold pleasures, and I felt an immediate stirring within me. Nancy's entire being exuded a captivating blend of feminine allure and self-assured maturity that I found irresistibly attractive. Henry and Nancy casually mentioned they had already showered at home, suggesting I might want to freshen up as well. Excitement coursing through my veins, I eagerly accepted their suggestion. As the warm water cascaded over me, my mind wandered, conjuring tantalizing images of Nancy. I felt a surge of gratitude for my decision to revisit this forum, anticipation building with each passing moment. While the shower helped soothe my nerves to some extent, it did little to quell the growing excitement and desire that threatened to overwhelm me. Emerging from the steamy bathroom, I was struck by the transformation that had taken place in the room. The harsh overhead lights had been replaced by a soft, ambient glow that created an intimate, almost dreamlike atmosphere. Henry, now comfortably seated on the sofa, uttered words that sent a delicious shiver of anticipation down my spine. "Please, feel free to do as you wish with Nancy." His casual gesture towards the bed seemed to open a portal to a world of sensual possibilities. With a mixture of reverence and barely contained desire, I approached the bed where Nancy awaited. She lay there, a vision of unadorned beauty, her nude form a landscape of soft curves and inviting warmth. Her scent, a delicate blend of floral notes and her natural essence, enveloped me like an invisible embrace, igniting my senses. Her skin, kissed by a soft sheen, seemed to glow in the muted light, and the slight flush coloring her cheeks hinted at a potent cocktail of shyness and mounting excitement. The sight of her, so vulnerable yet willingly offered, awakened something primal within me, a long-dormant hunger now roaring to life. The years of solitude following my wife's passing had left me starved for feminine companionship, and Nancy's mere presence was intoxicating. However, I was determined to savor this moment, to resist the urge to rush headlong into passion. I wanted to relish every aspect of this unique experience, to commit each sensation to memory. It was a delicate tightrope walk between my surging desire and my wish to ensure this encounter would be memorable and deeply pleasurable for all involved. As I gazed upon Nancy, drinking in her beauty, I steeled myself for the exquisite journey that lay ahead, ready to balance passion with tenderness, urgency with patient exploration. Henry approached the bed with a mix of anticipation and authority. "Allow me to remove the covers," he said, his voice a blend of excitement and nervousness. With a swift motion, he pulled away the blanket that had been our last vestige of modesty. The action felt symbolic, as if the final barrier between us had been stripped away, both literally and metaphorically. As the blanket fell away, Nancy's exquisite form was revealed in its entirety. Her voluptuous breasts, soft curves, and smooth skin were suddenly on full display, bathed in the room's gentle illumination. The soft lighting seemed to caress her skin, giving it an ethereal glow. Her slightly tense expression, a mixture of vulnerability and anticipation, only enhanced her allure. I found myself utterly captivated, feeling both privileged to witness such beauty and overwhelmed by the intensity of the moment. The sight of Nancy was breathtaking. My heart thundered in my chest, and a warmth spread through my body, igniting every nerve ending. The challenge of suppressing my desire for her was immense, yet I reminded myself of the need for patience and respect. This delicate situation required a careful balance between passion and consideration. Acutely aware of Henry's watchful presence, I leaned in to kiss Nancy. However, she kept her lips firmly sealed, rebuffing my advances. After several gentle attempts to breach this barrier, Nancy whispered, "I'm embarrassed," and turned away, presenting her back to me. Her shyness was endearing, evoking a surge of tenderness within me. I found her vulnerability both touching and arousing. Seeking guidance, I glanced at Henry. His eyes were fixed on us, and he nodded his approval, silently urging me to continue. Encouraged by his tacit permission, I turned my attention back to Nancy. With utmost gentleness, I began to caress her shoulders from behind. My touch was feather-light, designed to soothe and reassure her, to coax her out of her shell of shyness. Nancy's protests were soft but clear. "Wait, I'm shy," she murmured, her body tense with nervousness. Henry, ever the supportive husband, reassured her. "Don't worry, it's okay," he said soothingly, helping her turn back towards me. As Henry gently embraced her shoulders, I could feel Nancy's body gradually relaxing. The dynamic between the three of us was intricate and delicate, each of us playing a crucial role in this intimate dance of desire, trust, and exploration. As I leaned in to kiss Nancy once more, I sensed her initial hesitation. However, this time she yielded, her lips softening against mine. The barrier of reluctance dissolved, allowing us to progress to a more intimate stage. With utmost gentleness, I caressed Nancy's upper body, carefully positioning us to ensure Henry had an unobstructed view. The knowledge of his watchful gaze added an electrifying undercurrent to our encounter. "Your husband is watching us intently," I whispered teasingly to Nancy. "Doesn't that make you feel a bit shy?" A blush crept across her cheeks as she murmured, "I'm embarrassed. I'm sorry." Yet, from that moment on, she surrendered herself completely to the experience. I made love to Nancy with a passion that had long lain dormant, savoring every touch, every sensation. My lips traced a path along her neckline, eliciting soft, melodious moans. As I slowly descended to her breasts, I keenly observed her reactions. Her breathing grew increasingly ragged, and I could sense her mounting excitement. Nancy was no longer a passive participant. She had become an active collaborator in our shared pleasure. Our movements intensified, becoming more fervent with each passing moment. Nancy's hands explored my back, her touch both tentative and eager. I drew her waist closer, our bodies moving in perfect synchronicity. Though we remained acutely aware of Henry's presence, we found ourselves increasingly lost in the intoxicating haze of our shared passion. When we finally reached our climax together, I experienced a sense of profound satisfaction that had eluded me for years. It felt as though a dam of pent-up emotions had finally burst, releasing a torrent of long-suppressed feelings. Henry's reaction to our lovemaking was intense and palpable. His unique interest, entrusting his wife to a widower and deriving pleasure from the spectacle, was truly extraordinary. As Nancy and I continued to make love multiple times, our desire for each other seemed to grow exponentially with each encounter. The chemistry between us was undeniable and intoxicating, reminiscent of the passionate connection shared by true lovers or a long-married couple. In a surprising turn of events, Henry produced a camera from his bag and began filming our intimate moments. Nancy's initial protest, "No, don't film that," seemed more performative than genuine. Despite her verbal objection, she made no move to separate from me. In fact, her excitement appeared to intensify, suggesting that while she voiced opposition, she was secretly relishing this new dimension to our encounter. The presence of the camera added yet another layer of excitement and taboo to our already charged experience, pushing the boundaries of our shared adventure even further. As I observed Henry and Nancy's interactions, I gained a deeper understanding of their unique dynamic. Henry's unconventional interest in sharing his wife with others was intriguing, but Nancy's response was even more fascinating. It became apparent that Henry sought to unleash Nancy's hidden desires, creating a safe space for her to explore her fantasies. Their relationship exemplified a rare balance of trust, communication, and mutual exploration that allowed them to push boundaries while maintaining a strong emotional connection. During a moment of quiet intimacy, Nancy posed a thought-provoking question. "Who do you prefer, your wife or me?" Without hesitation, I responded, "My wife is probably watching this situation from heaven right now." Nancy's reaction was a complex mixture of emotions. "When you say that, I feel embarrassed and guilty," she admitted, her voice barely above a whisper. Yet, despite her words, there was an unmistakable glint of excitement in her eyes, suggesting that she found a certain thrill in this taboo scenario. Meanwhile, Henry, ever the voyeur, carefully documented our passionate encounters on camera, creating a lasting record of our shared experience. As our intimate encounter progressed, Nancy's pleasure became increasingly evident. She reached multiple peaks of ecstasy, her body responding with unbridled enthusiasm to every touch and caress. Despite my own struggle for control, I found myself utterly captivated by the sight of her uninhibited pleasure. Watching her transformation from shy and hesitant to passionate and liberated was both beautiful and profoundly arousing, an image that I knew would be etched in my memory for years to come. The change in Nancy's demeanor was remarkable. Gone was the initial shyness and resistance, replaced by an aura of pure, unadulterated desire. Her eyes now sparkled with passion, her gestures bold and uninhibited. It was as if a dam had broken, releasing a torrent of long-suppressed desires. Nancy was now fully present in the moment, honestly expressing her wants and needs without reservation. Witnessing this metamorphosis, I felt a sense of privilege, honored to be part of such a profound personal transformation. As the evening drew to a close, the three of us found ourselves sharing a bath, the warm water adding another layer of intimacy to our encounter. Henry, perhaps feeling a twinge of possessiveness, began to caress Nancy in the tub, his touch a gentle reminder of their primary connection. As the couple became intimate, I found myself once again stirred by desire. The sensual atmosphere, created by the combination of warm water, steamy air, and the raw passion before me, proved irresistible. Nancy and I were drawn together once more, making love with renewed fervor as Henry looked on, his gaze intense and unwavering. The interplay of desire, intimacy, and voyeurism created a heady mixture that seemed to suspend time, leaving us all lost in a world of sensual exploration and shared pleasure. For the first time since losing my wife, I experienced a profound sense of genuine happiness. This encounter had rekindled emotions I thought were long dormant, reminding me that I was still capable of feeling passion and forging meaningful connections. While I understood that this experience couldn't replace the love I had lost, it served as a poignant reminder of my capacity for intimacy and emotional engagement. As we concluded our time together, Henry's parting words resonated with promise. "George, I'll be in touch. Please stay connected." Nancy, her expression a blend of shyness and invitation, added, "George, let's arrange another meeting soon." Their departure left me awash in a complex mixture of satisfaction and eager anticipation for future rendezvous. Moving forward, I resolved to maintain my involvement with the forum, albeit with careful consideration. I was determined to strike a delicate balance between exploring my personal desires and upholding my responsibilities as a father. It was paramount that my daughter remain oblivious to this aspect of my life. Despite the incredible fulfillment this experience had brought me, I recognized the need for discretion and moderation. As I exited the hotel, a renewed sense of vitality and possibility coursed through me. I felt immense gratitude for this unexpected chapter in my journey of healing and self-rediscovery. The weight of grief that had burdened me for so long seemed to lift slightly, replaced by a cautious optimism for what the future might hold. This experience had not only satisfied a physical need, but had also nourished my soul, reminding me that life still held the potential for joy and connection, even in the wake of profound loss.